Don't read this story at night because it will have you cutting the lights on to pee. That's what I thought the second I looked at the cover, and yeah, I was right. Melvinas Therapy is an episodic horror series about a therapist whose patients have a tendency to meet very disturbing fates when trying to confront their traumas. We're gonna dive into one of these stories today, so let's get into it. Chapter 1, Hare's Arms. Episode 1, Melvina tells us the story of a couple coming in for help. The girlfriend, Gina, is clearly uncomfortable even being there, but her boyfriend, Owen, has been pushing her to see a therapist for a while now. Over the years, Gina's developed this intense fear of hares, and recently, it's gotten worse. She started hallucinating, and in these visions, she sees the silhouette of a hare walking on its hind legs. And it's not just in her head either. Owen says she startles so easily now that it's starting to embarrass him in front of his friends. According to him, things really took a turn after they moved. When Gina found something in one of the boxes. It was a 20-year-old school photo from a field trip to the mountains. Melvina starts a regression session, and Gina's sitting there listening to the steady tick of the metronome, eyes closed, trying to stay calm. Melvina places something in front of her and tells her to open her eyes when she's ready. Gina hesitates, then finally looks, and it's a picture of a hare. Instantly, she panics. We start getting flashbacks of something that looks like a demonic rabbit and decomposed bodies. Just quick, disturbing glimpses as that metronome keeps ticking. Gina can't take it. She jumps up and bolts out of the session. Owen's chasing after her, calling her name, telling her to wait, but Melvina just sits there watching. The next day, Gina calls her mom. She needs answers because at this point, it's clear something happened on that trip. Her mom goes quiet when she brings up the photo, then finally admits, some people from the trip never came back. 3 of them disappeared, including Gina. No one saw anything, not the teachers, not the other students, just gone. Gina was the only one to come back, but every time they tried to ask her what happened, she would completely break down, full hysteria for hours. The police assumed she witnessed something traumatic, so they kept trying to question her, but it was too much. Eventually, her mom shut it all down, just so Gina could have a chance at living a normal life again. Her mom's story fills in some of the gaps, but the deeper she digs into the past, the more it feels like something should have stayed buried. Episode 2. Gina and Owen decide to go back to the place where the photo was taken. Gina is clearly hesitant. She doesn't want to dig up a memory she forgot for a reason, but Owen keeps pushing until she finally gives in. When they get there, Owen is immediately drawn to how quiet everything is. It's almost too quiet. He starts scanning the mountains with his binoculars until he sees something. In the distance, there's a pale house sitting between the trees. He asks Gina if that could be where she was all those years ago, and after looking at it for a second, she agrees. So they start walking for about an hour, but it gets dark fast, and the deeper they go, the harder it is to find the house. They keep moving when Gina suddenly hears something. She turns, and in the distance, she sees it, a tall figure, humanoid, but wrong, like a hare standing on 2 legs. Gina screams and drops to the ground. Owen runs over and looks in the same direction, but there's nothing there. So now he's thinking this might just be another hallucination. He tries to calm her down, telling her they need to keep going, but Gina is done. She's angry, telling him he forced her into something she never wanted to do. Before he can even respond, she turns and starts heading back the way they came. She moves slowly through the woods, trying to get out of there, but somehow she ends up right where they were headed, standing in front of that same white house. Episode 3. Gina opens the door and steps inside the house. It's completely dark. She sees a staircase ahead of her and for some reason feels drawn to it, like she shouldn't be going up there, but she is anyway. She doesn't want to do this, but part of her keeps thinking Owen is right. If she wants things to go back to normal and fix what's been happening between them, she has to face whatever this is. As she moves closer, deeper into the house, she sees a door with an image of a hare on it, and at that point, she already knows. Whatever's been following her, whatever she's been seeing, is behind that door. Melvina's voice starts playing in her head from their session, asking her, if those visions had a home, where would they come from? And Gina had answered, the house. There's something there. I can't see it, but I can feel it. Her hands start to shake as she reaches for the door. She slowly pushes it open and steps inside. In her mind, she continues the thought, saying she believes the hares are resting there. She walks towards something in the room, covered by a cloth, replaying the conversation. Melvina asks her what she believes, and as Gina reaches out to grab the cloth, she finally says it. She believes they're waiting for her to awaken them. Outside, Owen has made his way back to the car, but Gina isn't there. He calls her name over and over, getting no response. And then right next to him, a crow suddenly caws. He flinches and turns towards it, and for a second, it feels like he's not alone. Episode 4. We cut back to a few days earlier, back in Dr. Melvina's office right after Gina gets up and leaves the session. Owen is complaining. He's irritated, asking Melvina why she just let her walk out, saying she's supposed to help her, not make her worse. He keeps going, getting more annoyed the longer she doesn't respond, saying the least she could have done was prescribe something to get all that shit out her head. And Melvina is barely acknowledging him. She finally looks at him and says something that completely shifts the energy. She tells him that the unhappy one is like a parasite, that it feeds off its host, that it becomes more and more demanding over time, draining them, taking away any sense of joy, preventing them from growing. Something asks her what she means by that, and we cut back to the present. Owen is back in the woods, still searching. He finally finds the house and walks inside, calling out for Gina. He makes his way up the stairs, and that is where he hears her. Gina is talking softly, almost like she's repeating something to herself. They're not hairs. They're arms. I was wrong. It was never this place. Owen rushes towards the room and finally sees her, standing in front of a mirror, completely still. He lets out this frustrated, finally found you, and immediately starts going off on her, asking what is wrong with her, saying he's been looking for her for over an hour, telling her she's acting crazy. And then she turns around. Her arms shoot straight up in the air. Her eyes are hollow. Her mouth is hollow. Her skin looks like it's starting to shrivel. And she says that she was searching for a source, but what she found was her reflection. She was wrong. The monsters were never in that place. They were inside of her. And now they're waking up again. Her voice slowly begins to slide off, revealing something underneath. Glowing eyes, something not human. She starts moving towards him. Her arms lift, but her elbows bend inward at these sharp, unnatural angles, twisting into something that almost looks like ears. Owen can't move, completely frozen. And she keeps repeating it. They're not hairs, they're arms. And now it finally clicks. What she thought were ears in those shadows was her all along. Episode 5. Owen is terrified, but instead of freezing, he runs straight out the room. He darts down the hallway, not even thinking, just trying to get out, and when he looks back, she's there, at the end of the hallway, that same twisted figure, just standing there. He runs outside and bolts straight into the woods. It's pouring rain. He's moving as fast as he can, slipping through the mud, until he loses his footing and crashes hard to the ground. His knee is busted open, and he screams. He tries to get up, but he can't, and now panic really starts to set in, because he knows he can't outrun her like this. So instead, he looks for somewhere to hide, and that's when he sees it, a deep burrow in the ground, and something about it feels like it's calling him. So he crawls inside. Before disappearing completely, he looks back, and a flash of lightning lights up the woods, and for a split second, you see her, the same horrific figure, standing there, watching him. Owen turns and forces himself deeper into the burrow, but the tunnel suddenly gives way beneath him, and he drops, falling deeper into the darkness, screaming. He hits the ground hard, tries to stand, but his leg won't hold him. With what little energy he has left, he fumbles through his bag and pulls out a lighter. He flicks it on, and finally, he sees where he is. Episode 6. Now Owen understands. Gina wasn't just traumatized because she witnessed something. She did something. She was the one responsible for what happened to those people. We see it, a small, cramped hole in the dark with the remains of a child and a teacher huddled together. At some point, Gina must have realized what she had done, and instead of facing it, she buried it, locked it away. Owen hears something behind him, a slow creaking sound from above. He turns. At the entrance of the hole, Gina is there, in that same twisted, bent form, just staring down at him, and then she devours. As Melvina speaks, we see Owen being overtaken. His name slowly burns away as she talks. Owen always searched for perfection, not just in himself, but in the people around him. And over time, that search turned into dissatisfaction. He could not accept people as they were, so he tried to change them. He pushed when he should have listened, demanded when he should have understood. And in doing so, he forced something to the surface that was never meant to be disturbed, because beneath that need for control was fear, a fear he could never justify. And for that reason, the patient who needed diagnosing was always him. And this is just one of the cases from Melvina's therapy sessions. But if you think this was bad, it gets worse. Because every patient that walks into that office somehow dies in the most gruesome way. And I don't think Melvina is trying to stop it. We're definitely going to cover some more of these cases. So give a like and subscribe and make sure you have your notifications on for the next video. Thanks guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.